5 here at Austria for our 5-lapper classic races. Currently on board with Marlon Conga in 5th place. In front of him is Sprightly, Chandler, Big Mr. Brown, and Ronan leading off the grid. We have Tazonic right behind the back of OOT right here. Looks like Chandler is getting past Big Mr. Brown. It's getting tight into turn 1 here on lap number 2. As we got a nice little line of some 2010 Red Bulls flying up the hill and taking turn number 3 all together. These guys are very close to one another. Stick it right here with Sprightly in 4th place. See if he can hold off Marlon right here. Marlon's making quite the charge on him as Chandler is now gaining on Ronan, possibly looking to take away 1st place. See if there's anything doing here for our Red Bull on Red Bull Crime. Chandler fastest lap, but looks like he is too far back from Ronan. Marlon Conga as well here trying to overtake Sprightly. We got King Kirk shortly behind them, but back up to Chandler. He's going to dive down the inside of Ronan, thanks Berovic, and backs out. But here we go. Marlon on Sprightly, gets to overtake. Done. There is Sprightly into the wall. That is unfortunate. Run the Jules with a 2-second time penalty. Father Corn on the outside here of King Kirk, looking to take 5th place. That's very unfortunate for Sprightly as he is falling back to 9th place. Father Corn can't quite get the move done here on King Kirk. Kirk's going to stay in 5th from now. This Chandler is still fighting up front here with Ronan. Ronan very heavy on the brakes. Looks like he's struggling just a little bit as Chandler is applying as much pressure as he can onto Ronan as we're across for lap number 4. Just 2 more to go. Chandler takes a peek and nothing doing there for him. It looks like he lost just a little bit of time off the corner. No, he didn't. Looks like he did get a good exit off of there. He's going to dummy, go down the inside, touch the grass. Ronan leaving no space at all. And there goes Big Mr. Brown out of nowhere. Chandler's now losing tons of places. Here comes Marlon Conga now in the 3rd. Where did this come from? We got a tight battle as we come into turn number 4. Marlon looks like gonna get a double overtake. Can he? Looks like he will as he edges out Big Mr. Brown here. Coming into turn number 5. Big Mr. Brown on the grass. Chandler now P4 after looking like he was going to take the lead. And Big Mr. Brown going very deep and losing the spot now here to Chandler, who gets P3. And it looks like Ronan now might fly away with it. Some tricky tactics going into turn 3 and squeezing Chandler, but that looks like that's going to give him the race victory. And with no stewards, who is going to contest him? Nobody. That is who. As multiple time penalties are now getting picked up. Chandler going now on the outside of Marlon Conga. Rock Lobster setting the fastest lap of the race. And Chandler just cannot get the move done on Marlon. And that is still Marlon now in P2. Looks like Big Mr. Brown once again looking like he's going to try to take this spot from Chandler. As Father Corn now, him and King Kirk are still fighting. And it looks like Father Corn now is going to get that place over King Kirk here. That is 5th place for Father Corn. Big Mr. Brown still trying to fight with Chandler, but looks like he might have just fallen back too much here with just 2 turns left to go. And that may be Ronan easily ahead with the victory. P1 for him. We were followed by Marlon, Chandler, Big Mr. Brown, Father Corn, King Kirk, Brackish, OT, and here comes Sprightly in 9th, Ed in 10th, and very far back from them, Tazonic and Rock Lobster. And it is only a 5-lap race, but Jules has found some way to DNF. So that is race number 1 done. 4 more to go. And congrats to Ronan for the race victory. He is quite the quick boy in these Red Bulls. Race number 2, we will see the 2006 Renault at Suzuka. So that should be another exciting race, as I know some drivers struggle quite massively at Japan, but it is quite a fun track to race at. Now let's take one more look at our grid here. It was Ronan P1, Marlon Conga P2, and Chandler Seda in P3, followed by Big Mr. Brown in 4th, Father Corn in 5th, King Kirk 67 and 6th, Brackish 7th, OT 8th, Sprightly 9th, and Ed in 10th, rounding off our top 10 for quite a hectic Austrian Grand Prix. Nice little 5 laps there, as I have almost left the session. That would have been very bad. So we will wait for this to load us in. Tonight, our live stats guy is Capita Hood, who unfortunately was unable to make the commentary tonight due to technical difficulties. It has been said that he has already thrown his Xbox out his window and beat it with a hammer for it causing him so many troubles tonight. And here we go, loading into our loading screen. And we will set up our next track here at Suzuka for our drivers. Nice, and it will be the 2006 Renault, making sure all of our drivers hop into that car. Someone has opted to go in the 2003 Williams. What are you doing, TK14X? Maybe not the brightest lad, as he doesn't seem to be getting the message that we are all switching to the 2006 Renault. And unfortunately, if he is unable to hop into the right car, we might have to kick him from this race. I would hate to do that to the owner of UFR as he joins us tonight. And there's TK. He has just jumped the screen. Okay, sweet. He is also in the 2006 Renault R26, driven by the great Fernando Alonso, as I believe Capta Hood is now sending me our stats, which are pretty easy since we've only had one race in. But Ronan first, Marlon second, and Chandler in third so far. And we will have to wait and see what Suzuka has to offer for us. If anyone knows anything about Japan, is that it's my favorite place to go to in April of every year for their Penis Festival, as I found out that existed last season during some great commentary with Capita Hood. So if you are ever finding yourself in Japan in the month of April, go and indulge in their widely I have no words for it. It's just a magnificent event, something you should definitely go check out in your spare time. And on that note, I'm going to take a quick 30-second break as we wait for all of our drivers to start and get this session loaded up, just so I can get some water and not die on the comms tonight. But thank you all for joining us. If you liked the video, give us a like, subscribe to the YouTube channel, and it'll be greatly appreciated. And here we are. We're at Suzuka in Japan. The 2006 Renault's looking very beautiful right now on the grid. As we now just wait for all of our drivers to load up, and we have ERS Ham Newton in the lobby, as this is not just restricted to PPR drivers. Obviously, we have TK14 here from UFR, and we got ERS Ham Newton, who is widely known as one of the quick boys in F1 2019. Fun fact, I was his teammate in a different league that I never raced in, but I can still say at one point I was ERS Ham Newton's teammate. So I think that makes me sort of a quick boy, but here we go. 2, 3, 4, 5 lights, and we are out. Marlon Conga getting a horrible start, and Chandler off to the races. We have it 3 wide going into turn 1. Ed getting a good start, but that is one of the Renaults way off the grid. It is a cluster as we have many drivers getting very wide. TK going down the inside of King Kirk, but going too wide and into the grass. We have lots of moves, and there is Father Corn off, Rock Lobster off. ERS Ham Newton found himself into 7th place, and OT all the way up into 6th, as we're getting lots of 3-second time penalties for severe collisions. Jules has found himself in the grass and nearly in the wall, as many of our drivers are struggling to keep these cars on the circuit. This is a 5-lap race, so what else would you expect? As it looks like things have started to calm down just a little bit now, halfway through this lap. Looks like Ham Newton is now on the attack and looking to overtake big Mr. Brown here. If there's anything going for him, he's gonna get it through 130R, and that is the overtake done there. Big Mr. Brown now following back into 5th, as we have King Kirk shortly followed back on double OT. Father Corn now looking to get the overtake done on TK. TK going for the move to defend on the inside and looking to let up the position. And it looks like he might make it stick as he goes side by side and gives Father Corn a nice little tap in the front as he got overtaken. And now it is double OT's turn to get around big Mr. Brown, but King Kirk trying to make his own move now on the current 6th place driver. Unfortunately for big Mr. Brown, he has found himself falling back massively, and King Kirk now looks like he might be too far back on OT. We'll take it up here with Ham Newton, who's looking to attack on Ed, but really struggling those 2 corners right there. It looks like King Kirk now is going to look to get the move done through 130R on the outside of OT. Can he make this happen? OT sticking it on the inside. Kirk going on the grass, locking up just a tad, but doing a nice job to keep his car intact. TK trying to make it back on Father Corn right here, but it looks like Ham Newton might get the move done here on Ed. Ed's going to take it down on the inside of turn 1, and Ham just cannot get around Ed. As TK has, oh, I take that back. Looks like, yes, he has gotten around Father Corn. Kirk still trying to get around OT here. Some great battles going on currently. We're now 3 laps in of this 5-lap race. Through the hairpin we go. Kirk getting a little bit extra traction right there, but still nothing going with double OT. His OT is still maintaining his position, but Kirk might be able to get him right here. A little Seb action, but luckily he didn't end up nailing the side pot of OT. And he will remain in 6th place. We'll take it down here with TK. Looks like he might be a little bit too far back on Father Corn. Chandler got a 10-second time penalty for corner cutting, and he's already 5 seconds in the lead. Oh, what happened up here with Chandler? That is very unfortunate, and that is going to cost him a lot of places at the end of the race. But here comes Ham Newton back on Ed. They are wheel to wheel, side by side. And once again, Ham just cannot get around Ed. Ed doing a great job of defending here. It looks like Marlon has once again lost his place to Chandler, but after Chandler's 10-second time penalty, I don't think this battle will matter too much. Got to make sure they don't make contact. Marlon getting very squirmy right there and losing some time to our current leader, Chandler Seda. Take it back down to Ham Newton, who's still having a great battle with Ed here. Oh, and it looks like Sprightly, Big Mr. Brown have both gone off, promoting TK into 9th place. Maybe he might be able to get 8th here on Sprightly, and he does. Oh man, what happened with those guys? As we take it back on with Ham Newton, is getting a great run here on Ed. Can he finally get the move done here on lap number 4? Looks like he will. He makes slight contact and picks up a 2-second time penalty for corner cutting, and now is throwing his car off the circuit and has to rejoin way behind Ed. That's unfortunate for Ham Newton there. But here comes King Kirk, still battling it out with double OT. Getting all that slipstream, sucking the slip out the stream and looking for the overtake. But unfortunately, he is not going to get it, as double OT will stay in P5. Because once again, Chandler has fallen back to 2nd place on Marlon. We just missed that as we looked at the battle going on between OT and King Kirk. But Chandler already trying to get back around Marlon. And he's going to have to gain as much time as he possibly can now with that 10-second time penalty. Luckily, there are a lot of drivers with some 2-second time penalties, and that might help him out just a little bit position-wise at the end of this race. As I say that, and Sprightly picks up a 2-second time penalty. See if Chandler can make a run here on the last lap of the race. What matters most is how you finish on track, not how you finish after penalties. And he's going to dive it down the inside of Marlon. They're going to go side by side here through the last chicane. Chandler's just going to completely send it, cut the corner. And Marlon's going to go back down on the inside. It's going to be a fight to the finish. Oh, but Marlon still gets P1 after penalties. That was very close. Ham Newton in the 3rd. Chandler dropping way back into 6th. And he will finish in 6th place as we're followed by Taz. Now, Father Corn in 7th, Taz in 8th, Sprightly finishing in 9th, followed by Ronan, TK in 11th, Brackish in, take that back, Brackish in 11th, TK in 12th after penalties, and Jules opting to finish a race here in 13th, followed by Big Mr. Brown, who at one point in this race was in 4th place, but unfortunately him and Sprightly did a little bit of the tango before the hairpin and found themselves into the barriers as we are finished off by Rock Lobster in a 15th place. What a race from these guys. Chandler says he was looking at his phone and then spun out the last chicane and got a 10-second time penalty, which cost him the race win, promoting him from 1st to 6th. That's unfortunate for Chandler. But Congrats to Marlon Conga as he picks up P1 and Ed for P2. King Kirk for third. After penalties, Ham in fourth, Double OT in fifth, followed by Chandler in sixth, Father Corn in seventh, Taz in eighth, Sprightly in ninth, and Ronan, who was our previous race winner, all the way down in 10th, so points have to be shaking up, as Captain Hood should be giving me the points very shortly, as he will be our stats guy for the entire duration of these races. But up next, we will have the Lotus 79 at Silverstone for race number 3. That is going to be quite the race. I don't know if many of our drivers have raced those cars, but they are amazing. Might be a little tough to handle, but they are great cars to race. And I'm expecting some exciting racing once again for race number 3 here, as we will switch on to those vehicles. I'll make sure I get them correct for our guys. Yes, there is the 72 Lotus. Very beautiful. Get Silverstone up here for them. As I said, 72 Lotus. It is the 78 Lotus. Team Lotus 79. I'm just completely butchering everything. Someone is going to kill me in the comments. F's in the chat. And once again, I'll take a quick water break and I'll be right back with you guys. And as always, if you like the video, give us a nice little like, show some love in the comments, and subscribe to the channel. We would greatly appreciate it from everyone here at PPR. And for a little bit of a fun fact about the Lotus 78, the wing car was Formula One's race car used in 1977 and 78 seasons. It was designed by Peter Wright, Colin Chapman, Martin Ogilvy, and Tony Rudd. It was the car that essentially started the ground effect revolution in Ferrari. And what a beautiful car it was. I mean, just the side of that thing is a complete masterpiece, as it was quite above its time when it was made. But here we go. We are about to start yet another race here, as Run the Jewels is starting in P1, and this is a random grid. Oh man, let's see how he gets off. All of our drivers look to be getting off okay. Jules has already dropped back, and I say that and everyone is dying off the track circuit. That is very unfortunate, as all these guys are getting through turns 1 and 2. Rock Lobster already picking up a 10-second time penalty. Double OT sliding, getting hit by King Kirk. It's a mess. These guys they are struggling to figure out how to drive these things. They might be a little more accustomed to some 2019 cars. But Tazonic now getting overtaken by Brackish as Brackish dives down the inside. See if he can get him back. As OT now promotes himself into 6th place, getting past Sprightly. As Sprightly now looks like he might be better off ahead. Unfortunately, we don't have the best camera angles here from Cody's. They're going to go through this very fast right-hander, see if they can negotiate around here. Doesn't look like they can, as TK is going to get around Sprightly now. And see how they can negotiate through Maggots and Beckett's. Chandler taking P8 from Sprightly. Going to have a lot of places to gain. And that is now P7. TK, unfortunately, has found himself making circles on the track. And Jules now getting overtaken by Ed for P2. But looks like Jules might be able to get him back here, as Ed has now been overtaken by Aero Brackish. As he's now going to dive down the inside, Jules gives him a nice little shunt, but not before he stays in P2. And there comes Brackish now. They're going 3 wide through turn 1. This is not going to fare well for these guys. Brackish very smartly dives out of this battle, and OT has now found himself in the 4th, taking a little peek. These guys are getting very close to each other. Luckily, there is no damage on for these 5-lap races. As OT takes a peek at Jules, Jules leaving no space. And here comes Chandler now. It is getting very difficult to keep up with who is where, because these guys are just overtaking left and right on each other. Oh, and that is double OT off the circuit. That is very unfortunate for OT. He was giving some great contentions to these guys. Oh, and it looks like Chandler has just shunted Jules off the circuit. What a side pod glitch if I've ever seen one. Chandler's coming for that race victory. So is ERS Ham Newton, as he's followed shortly behind Chandler. And we watch these guys negotiate through Maggots and Beckett's. Nose to gearbox. Chandler looking to go down the inside of Ed. Ronan sitting very well off in the lead, 6 seconds ahead. And here comes Ham Newton looking to get around Ed, as Chandler's already overtaken him. See if he can get him here. Ed doing very well to hold his line, but it's not going to be enough, and that's going to be Ham Newton into 3rd. And dropping Ed down into 4th place. Marlon getting pretty close now to Tazonic for 5th. Looks like he's falling back just a little too much, as our front few drivers are starting to spread out just a little bit here. It looks like Ham and Chandler might provide with some great side-by-sides, but Marlon now down the inside. Oh, and that is him. And who was that? Sprightly completely off track. Oh, and Brackish. Where did Brackish come from? Also finding himself into the wall. That's unfortunate for those guys. We'll take it back on board with Ed to see what's going on up here with Ham Newton and Chandler. So much going on at once here. It is quite the sight to see at Silverstone tonight. Looks like Ed is falling a little too far back from these guys. King Kirk, him and double OT, wherever they have raced tonight, have somehow found themselves right next to each other midway through the race and till the end. It looks like they might be going for another head-to-head battle on track here at Silverstone for the remaining 2 laps of the race, as we are about to cross the line for lap number 4. King Kirk getting in quite the massive slipstream. Double T falling out just a little bit too wide there, and it looks like King Kirk is going to get the overtake. Ronan with the fastest lap of the race with a 1:49.7. But Double OT now getting back at King Kirk. Just getting a little bit squirmy there. Can't keep control of his car. Now falling way back into 8th place. Fortunately for Jules, who started in P1, is P11. Currently navigating his way around ARL Brackish. We have a battle for the non-points positions going on right now between 12th, 13th, and Sprightly and Father Corn as well, battling for 14th at the back of the grid. And Father Corn nearly shunting his car into the wall. Just barely catching it there at the end. Ronan, 5 seconds ahead of Chandler in P2. So I have not seen what the time penalties look like. Don't think we've seen too many pop up on the screen for this race. So that is very nice to see. Looks like Brackish is going to try to get on the outside of Jules here. Jules claiming the inside and just completely outdoing himself. Running very wide off circuit. And that will be P11 for Brackish. Jules falling all the way down to P12. As we'll actually take this now into 3rd place. Looks like Ham Newton's starting to gain some time here on Chandler. And we are about to start lap number 5, the last lap of the race. King Kirk as well, slowly picking up his time on Double OT, who's currently in 7th. Ham Newton's gone fastest with a 48.2. He is definitely found the limits of this car. He might be able to chase down Chandler and capture P2 before the end of this lap. Ham's getting a good run on Chandler, a little bit of a slipstream here. Definitely doesn't have any room to make a dive bomb. If he did, that would have been almost 100% full on sprint into Chandler's side pod. As he still stays about 4/10 abreast from the driver in 2nd. He can gain anything here on Chandler. Looks like we have a yellow to sector 1, but no one has gone off. So thank you, Cody's, for that. But Chandler definitely negotiating through Maggots and Beckett's, just a little too much for Ham. Ham might not be able to take this position, but we will see if Chandler makes any mistake here. Doesn't look like he will. And that will remain Chandler in P2. Take it on down to Double OT, who's gaining on Big Mr. Brown. Looking for the last chance here, and he does it. Getting a pass, Big Mr. Brown. King Kirk now trying to get around Big Mr. Brown, but nothing doing there. And that is P6 for OT, 7th for Big Mr. Brown, and 8th for King Kirk. Followed by TK in 9th. Marlon Conga taking the final point there in 10th. Brackish and Jules just completely throwing, or that was Rock Lobster, I'm sorry, finding their way. Sprightly has run out of gas. I don't know how you, looks like Father Corn has run out of gas as well. That's unfortunate for those guys. But there is Ronan P1, followed by Chandler and Ham Newton, rounding off the top 3. Ed in 4th, Taz in 5th, OT once again in 6th as Father Corn finally crosses the line after seeming to underfuel his car and run out before the final few turns. That is unfortunate for him. But that is 3 laps in with 2 laps to go. As Jules said, he was sent into the Shadow Realm during that race. Yes, he was. That was quite the shunt from Chandler, as we will now have race 4 and the 2010 McLaren at Spa. So once again, another fantastic race we should expect, followed by our last race of the day, which will be the 2004 Ferrari at none other than Monza. Those will be some exciting races. Currently, the standings are Ronan in P1, Marlon sits in P2, Chandler in third, followed by Ed in fourth, Kirk in fifth, Ham Newton in sixth, OT in seventh, Father Corn in eighth, Big Mr. Brown in ninth, Taz in 10th, Brackish in 11th, Sprightly, TK, and Rock Lobster and Jules as well, falling off the final standings. But still very close between Ronan and Marlon Conga here, as Ronan sits atop with 51 points, Marlon with 44, Chandler just 10 away with 41, but can't count out Ham Newton quite yet, or King Kirk as well, both sitting back with 27 points and 5th and 6th. Everyone from OT down to Jules might be out of it. OT with 22 points, Father Corn with 16, Big Mr. Brown 18. So these standings are a little bit wrong. Tazonic 14, 6 from Brackish, 4 Sprightly, TK with 2, and Rock Lobster and Jules the only people to yet score points tonight. So that is unfortunate, as I need to change our cars. We'll take our drivers here into Belgium. As you know what time it is my 30-second, not to be 30-second water break. I'll be right back with you guys. If you're liking this racing, keep spamming the comments. Love to see what you guys have to say, and I'll be right back with you for the start of our next race. Alright, and we are just waiting for the rest of our drivers to load up and get this started. Hopefully they just spam that ready button. There we go. Or as it looks like we were about to go. As Taz has not got the memo, we are in the McLaren, Taz, not the Red Bull. But a little bit about the McLaren MP4 from 2010. It was driven by Jenson Button and Lewis Hamilton, sponsored from Vodafone. The MP425 was the first McLaren car to be independently built by McLaren, only after being demoted to Mercedes' customer team following Mercedes rejoining as a full constructor team after purchasing 75% of a stake in Braun GP. If anyone knows anything about that Braun car from 2009, it was a killer. But I am expecting some very close racing here at Spa. The McLaren won 5 races in 2010, 16 podiums and 1 pole. That was from Lewis Hamilton with 6 fastest laps in their 2010 season. We have finally gotten 8 drivers to ready up. Thank you. Taz, unfortunately, I don't think he's gotten the memo that he needs to be in the 2010 McLaren. If he does not, he may be disqualified from this race, as it looks like he will be, as he has not hopped into the McLaren. He may have made a mistake there, but we will ignore it for now. We will definitely know where Taz is at when we see those blue Red Bull sponsored colors flying around some silver McLarens. We now wait for it, the loading screen to load once again here for race number 4 out of 5, and this will probably be the longest race we have tonight, next to our previous race and the Lotuses at Silverstone. But here we go, waiting for the drivers to load up and start off our race here at Spa. And here we go. Clock is finally ticking down. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 seconds remaining as the grid is formed up. Let's see who's sitting on pole for this race. It is Tazonic, Marlon Conga, and Ronan in first, second, and third. TK has already jumped to start and has thrown himself into the wall. What a mess, Taz, as we see his Red Bull right there. Oh no, that's unfortunate. Ronan's gone off, our points leader, as we're getting a massive collision going on between all of our drivers. And there goes OT. He is off. No, that was not. That was actually Father Corn. We go up. Radion and Arouge, our drivers, somehow not crashing through there. And we have quite the battles going on up front. Let's take it on board here with Rock Lobster, as Ham Newton just completely throws it around. King Kirk has found himself into the wall. That is terrible for him. Our championship leader after 3 races, Ronan, is sitting in 11th and outside of the points. So this is great for Chandler, Ham, and Marlon, who sit in 2nd, 3rd, and 4th. Sprightly getting a little bit squirmy right there, as Ham Newton has now gotten around him for 4th place. Chandler and Ham doing a great job right now navigating their way through the field. Rock Lobster might be looking to make his own pass here, as ARO Brackish is right behind him as well, and Big Mr. Brown, who has now picked up a 2-second time penalty already. Brackish getting around Rock Lobster for 6th place. But he's going to have this long straight to get right back at him. Oh, looks like Brackish, a little bit of a disconnect there. That is scary to see. They are getting a good run here on Sprightly. Sprightly has nothing he can do. It looks like Rocket is going to throw it down the inside. Gets the move. Brackish fights off with him and will take P5, as we have King Kirk once again finding himself off the circuit. Sprightly is losing all sorts of places. He's now falling back to P7 with OT taking P6. Rock Lobster also falling back. We'll follow these guys up. Oh, Rouge, as Ronan tries to go side by side with Big Mr. Brown, who is now got himself stuck in the barrier. That is the second time we've seen Ronan shut someone off the track tonight. But that one, not really his fault. He's just going side by side up Radion and Arouge. That is kind of what you're going to expect. Someone is not going to make it up with you. Survival of the fittest. Looks like Chandler and Ham Newton. What has gone wrong with Chandler? Must have spun off track as he was resetting. So he's now falling back all the way down to P8 and joining the battle with these guys. Already giving Ronan a nice little tap behind. As Ed has now picked up a 2-second time penalty. Double OT looking very comfy up there in P5. Looking to get around Brackish. And like Cap said in the comments, this is a little bit of driver's ed because these guys are just throwing their cars everywhere on track. Provides for some entertaining racing, as it is just some 5-lap races. This is a 50% race. Our stewards would be crying at the amount of incident points we would see just from these first 2 laps. But here comes Chandler down the inside of Ronan. Oh, and there goes Ronan on the inside of Sprightly. That was a beautiful move done by Ronan. And Chandler making contact with Sprightly. Can't get past him. Ham has set the fastest lap of the race. But what a move there from Ronan. Looks like King Kirk has now gotten around Jules. Don't know what happened there with him. Father Corn once again off track. Will spam down here to double OT as he currently sits in 5th place. But oh, Chandler and Sprightly have now gone off track. And that might be Chandler's championship hopes done for, as he's now all the way down into 10th. King Kirk getting the overtake on Sprightly. That's P8 for King Kirk. As we take it up with double OT. Still trying to get it done here on Brackish. Brackish going very wide as we have yellows through sector 1 and 2. I'm surprised we don't have it through the entire circuit. Just might have our guys on the outside wave yellows through every turn, because should expect more guys to go off if we've seen anything from just 2.5 laps of racing. Chandler's now picked up a 3-second penalty. Nothing going right for him. As on board now with Ham Newton, who is on the back of Tazonic, looking to get the overtake done. And he does. Where did Taz go? Taz just dropping back. Maybe just to avoid any contact. OT still working here on Brackish as we are now on lap number 4. This is going great for Marlon, who's currently sitting 2nd, and Ham Newton in 3rd. Ronan all the way back in 6th. This is definitely going to make for a interesting last race at Monza in the 04 Ferraris if the standings stay as they are. Because these guys should be within just 2 or 3 points of each other. So it will be a battle of who can finish ahead of who for the championship finale at Monza. But here comes OT working on Brackish, getting some of that slipstream, trying to do as best as he can, braking as late as possible, getting the inside line. Brackish, however, still finding himself around OT, and OT cannot get around Brackish for 4th place. Brackish doing a great job of defending here on the current 5th place driver of double OT. Looks like TK and Chandler having a little bit of a battle back here. Cannot be overstated how bad this race has gone for Chandler. Once sitting P3, now sitting P12, and more than likely out of any contention to finish in the top 3 in points. But so far, so good from Marlon, who's currently in 1st. Ham doing a great job there in 2nd. Taz, Brackish, OT, not too much changing in the top 5. King Kirk looking to get a run here on Rock Lobster. Revving his engine as high as possible. Ham setting the fastest lap of the race here with 1 lap to go. Rock Lobster. Oh, Kirk. That's unfortunate for him. Sprightly now picking up P7 after Kirk and Rock Lobster got into each other, but back on top to double OT. Are they going to go too wide up Radion through a Rouge? No, they're not. Smartly done there by OT. He's going to get all the slipstream he can here on Brackish. Going for a final move here on lap number 5. Going side by side. And can he get it done this time? Doesn't look like he can. Brackish still squeezing him to the outside, but OT doing better than last lap to stay side by side with Brackish. Brackish now catching all the curb, losing all the traction, and he's going to fall down now into 6th. That's Ronan into 5th. That could be major for the points contention at the end of this race, as we'll see where they are after our statistician Captain Hood will inform me at the end of this race. But P5 right now for Ronan. See if Brackish can get back at him. He's going to have quite a long straight to do so. But Ronan definitely be looking to see if he can get on OT for P4. But we'll take it up with Ham, see if Ham's got anything going on Marlin. This may be big as we go into the final lap of their final race of the night at Monza. Next race, Marlin P1. Ronan doesn't look like he's going to get anything here on OT. Can Brackish do anything? No, he cannot. That's P4 for OT. 4th for Brackish. 5th for OT. 6th for Ronan. And that will be 7th for King Kirk. 8th for Sprightly. Rock Lobster in 9th. Jules, don't know what's going on with him. TK off the track. Chandler will pick up 1 point. TK still can't get it right. Jules is DNF. Father Corn has left the session. Oh, man. Big Mr. Brown going to pick up P12. Ed, can you get across the finish line? We have McLarens hitting each other everywhere. And if the last 3 seconds of that doesn't show you anything, that just summed up our race. The last 5 seconds that we just saw summed up our race. Currently looking at Ed, somehow in his pit box through his pit crew. That was an interesting sight. But hats off to Marlon Conga for the race victory. ERS Ham Newton for P2, Tazonic in 3rd, followed by Brackish in 4th, Double OT in 5th, Ronan in 6th, King Kirk in 7th, Sprightly in 8th, Rock Lobster in 9th, Chandler Seda in 10th, and our drivers outside of the points were TK, Ed, Big Mr. Brown, Jules, and Father Corn, who was finished in 15th place. We have 1 race remaining tonight. It's going to be a battle between Marlon, Ham, and Ronan for the championship here for our little classic car 5-lap series of tonight. Let me know in the chat, who do you think will be crowned champion after our last race in Monza? Will it be Marlon? Will it be Ham? Or will it be Ronan? I cannot wait to see, as we are now about to load back in to our lobby and get this set up. And not too much to say about the 2004 Ferrari. I think many people know how powerful this car was nearly 1,000 brake horsepower, led by Michael Schumacher, who would pick up yet another World Drivers' Championship in this car. I was quite a young lad when I watched that happen, and as a Ferrari fanboy, I wish I could go back to that time when Ferrari was winning championships like we now see Mercedes and Lewis Hamilton do in the current day. But our drivers are ready for this. Let's see if I can get the points. Luckily, Cap put them up for us shortly ago. So thank you to Cap. But this is going to get interesting, as Marlon sits atop of Ronan by 10 points. Ham in third with 45. Chandler still has a chance, a very slim chance, after having a horrible finish at Spa, as he sits with 42. But this is going to get spicy. Very spicy, as we wait for our drivers to load in. Let's see how much carnage we will have going into turn one. Hopefully it does not look how Spa just did our last race. As we wait for Chandler brackets to load in. And here we go for the start of the race, the final race of the night. Chandler already in a great spot in P1, Ronan in P2. TK once again has got another drive-through penalty. Ronan with a horrible start, and Chandler off to the races. P1 is the best he can do, and we'll see if that's enough for him as we go through turn one. TK off, and that is Big Mr. Brown into him. Jules is off. I could have called that before the start of the race. There it goes. Ronan falling back very massively into P7, now behind double OT. Ed with a 3-second time penalty. OT looks like he might get ahead of him. Who is that off? That is Father Corn, who just hit the barrier and cut the grass. Tazonic now finding himself off the circuit. Father Corn all the way up into P3. Ham Newton in second. Where is Marlon Conga currently sitting? He is in ninth at this moment. If my maths are correct, Ham Newton would take the championship with 18 collected points, and Marlon only by 2. That would be enough for Ham. Unfortunately for Chandler, he is going to be a long shot. He needs all of the 3 drivers ahead of him to really finish outside of the points and him to finish in first. We'll go on down with TK, who's getting a great run here on Jules and just can't get around him. He's going to have to dive in the pits after getting another drive-through. TK has not had some great races, but Big Mr. Brown getting quite the run here on Jules. Going to dive down the inside through turn one. And Jules going to outbrake himself. Makes a little bit of contact there with Big Mr. Brown, but he will keep the spot. As we'll go on top here with double OT. Getting a run here on Father Corn. And Father Corn getting really squirmy. Big Mr. Brown falling back. Getting a horrible exit and falling all the way down into P8. But Tazonic now looking to get around him, and he does. That's Tazonic now into 8th. Ronan is outside of the points in P11. And as I say that, he gets around Rock Lobster for P1. We'll take it back on board here with Ham Newton. He's just going to use all the slipstream he possibly can here on Chandler. Chandler getting a better exit here. But Ham Newton setting the fast lap of the race with a 120.3. Chandler going to defend the inside through turn 1, braking very late. And Ham cannot get around him, but he is sitting right on the gearbox now of Chandler. These guys are having quite the battle. Oh, and Chandler, unfortunately for him, got caught in the grass and gives Ham the position. So he's now going to have to fight with him. Big Mr. Brown falling back massively. Where did he go off? That is turn number 2. I'll back up to the battle for the race, and that is Chandler. No, Chandler has gone off and taken Double OT out with him. Oh no. But look who it is. It's King Kirk now getting a run on Chandler. See if he can pick up P3. Looks like Ronan now has gotten past Double OT. Unfortunately, I am not very quick on the fly with the numbers here. But Marlon sitting in P5, looks like that's going to be enough for him if positions stay like that for the championship. I'll take it back down on to Double OT and Brackish as they go side by side. Ham Newton now sitting very comfortably in the lead here on lap number 4. These guys, nothing doing. Same car, same engine, same power, same setup. Who brakes later? Oh, but Brackish has to go off. And that will give OT 9th, or 8th, I'm sorry. Ronan into 7th and Brackish in the 9th. We now have Taz on the back of Marlon Conga here. As Jules picks up a 2-second time penalty. Wouldn't doubt that Jules somehow retires before the end of this race. As we'll take it back on top now with Chandler. As he's now getting a run on Father Corn for P2. Unfortunately, it doesn't look like he's going to be able to catch up with Ham, who's now 5 seconds ahead. And about to start lap number 5. There he goes, crossing the line. So here we are on the last lap of the night here. Chandler setting the fastest lap of the 1:20.1. Going side by side with Father Corn as they go into turn 1, both very late on the brakes. Father Corn cutting every bit of the corner so he can stay in P2 and stay ahead of Chandler. But Chandler's going to get another run on him around the outside through the chicane. Can he make it stick here? Looks like he can, and that will put Father Corn into 3rd. And Chandler off the races, unfortunately. He will not be battling with Ham anymore tonight. Ham is solely taking 1st place, and Father Corn is struggling a lot. That might promote King Kirk onto the podium if he can get around Father Corn here. Takes a peek down the inside. What is Corn doing? He's just assassinated Kirk. And Kirk's fallen back into 6th. And Father Corn has now gone off, and that's promoted Marlon into 3rd. And that will be the championship for Marlon now. Father Corn with a 10-second time penalty. So Corn and Kirk's incident may have just given Marlon the championship, as he will now pass the finish line for 3rd and potentially, if my maths are correct, 1st place in the championship. But hats off to Ham Newton for P1, Chandler in P2, Marlon P3 to round off the podium, followed by Tazarnik in 4th, Ronan in 5th, OT in 6th, and we are followed by Brackish 7th, Kirk in 8th, Ed in 9th, Rock Lobster 10th, Jules in 11th, Sprightly, TK, and Big Mr. Brown. Kirk looked like he was gonna get the podium there, but Father Corn said, if I can't have it, you can't either. And there you have it. That was our five lap races for the night. Ham in 1st, Chandler in 2nd, Marlon in 3rd. round off our podium for the night. As I'll see if we can get Cap to send me the standings. So if you guys can just give me 1 second, I'll invite our top 3 in the championship to talk about these races. So we will wait for Cap, unless he's put them on the screen and I have completely missed them. So now all we do is wait. I believe Marlon is going to be our championship winner. Our statistician is hard at work right now, putting all the points together and seeing who finished where tonight. But that was some great racing, some fun battles, some crazy wrecks, some drivers not knowing how to operate their vehicles, looking a little bit like a 15-year-old kid in the car for the first time here tonight. But thank you all for joining us, as we have now got the official points, as it is Marlon sitting atop in P1 with 84 points, Ham Newton in second with 70, and Ronan in third with 69, losing out to Ham Newton by 1 point. Chandler finished in fourth with 60, followed by Tazonic in fifth, OT in fifth, Kirk in sixth, Ed in seventh, Brackish ninth, Big Mr. Brown 10th, Father Corn, Sprightly, Rock Lobster, TK, and Jules, the only driver not to score points tonight, and that doesn't really surprise me at all. It is Jules. But thank you so much, guys, for joining, watching us having some fun on our break week. We love you guys showing up to our streams, giving us some good comments in the chat, and we will see you tomorrow for 5 more 5-lap races for our PC side of things, as we knock out the Xbox tonight. And I hope you all have a great night. It was fun to watch these races with you guys, and that is all from me. This is PPR Nick signing off, and you guys have a great night. Hopefully Cap can cue the music, and we will end that off for you tonight. Once again, thank you, and we all love you here at PPR.